Será que fue un sueño, pero desperté. No sé qué somos. Hey baby, dime qué somos, porque siempre andamos solos. Nunca en tu barrio ni el vecindario saben tú y yo que somos. Hey baby, dime qué somos, porque siempre andamos solos. Solamente dime si es un vacile, al menos sé que somos. Me estoy para buscar esa respuesta. Muchos lo preguntan pero no contestas. Ya no
Let's
sé
see
lo
if
que
this thing
te
is working,
separa.
guys.
Y eso es algo que a mí sí me molesta. Cambia la actitud como quieras, no sé, pero ya no aguanto este juego otra
See how's my
vez.
stream health doing.
Hoy lo quiero ver. Ponme tu perfil y di que eres mi mujer. No sé, no sé qué
If I have anybody in here, go ahead and
somos.
say something in the chat room. I can't see anything.
Si no, dime que yo me bajo ahora de este tren. No sé qué somos. Si más que amigos estamos bien. Si no, pues dime
Y'all gotta get into this Latin music, man.
porque siempre andamos solos. Nunca en tu barrio ni el vecindario saben que somos, que somos. Baby, dime que somos, porque siempre andamos solos. Solamente
The last 5 months, 6 months, Mark has been doing nothing but giving free money, man.
entre tanto blanco y negro en TV color. Muy ingenuo, así que fui.
Y'all gotta love this, man. You're not gonna have times like this in the market ever again. So enjoy it while you have it.
La realidad nos contradice lo que ellos dicen.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Sal in the building right now. Enjoy me while I'm here. We're gonna talk stocks tonight. I know I'm late, man. But I mean, look, I'm here. So we're gonna talk some of your favorite stocks. We're gonna talk some of my favorite stocks right now. And we're gonna be up for as long as we got to. I mean, we ain't got nowhere to go. I know I ain't got nowhere to go. So, yeah. You say Core 45, really? Yes, indeed. What's going on, Silver Fox Forex? Yeah. Shout out to my LA Lakers. I got my LA Lakers vibe right now. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. Shout out to the people watching us now and in the future. Appreciate it, man. So I want to know how you guys have been doing. I want to know how you guys have been doing. I didn't want to waste another more minute. Next episode, I promise you I'm going to have the phone back up so I can start taking calls again. But, man, it's impromptu. I just wanted to jump on it. It's a brand new computer. For those of you guys, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or not. This computer has 36 cores. It's a very expensive computer. 36 cores, over 200 gigs. I'm running for my nerds out there, 2 GTX 1070 video cards. I don't even really need all this power. I'm just, it was just, like I said, man, the market is just, I mean, you sell a put, you buy a call, and it's just money. For the last 5 months, it's just money. For those of you guys who bought my course, if you buy crude, U.S. oil, it's been basically between 34 and 42 for the last 3-4 months. So the iron condors have been slapping, man. If you sell puts in gold right now, futures gold, it's been slapping like crazy. Again, just 85% of the time where traders go wrong is that they go against a basic moving average. In whatever time frame that they're going into. If the moving average is going up, you sell puts or you buy calls. Now I prefer traders always, be in trades longer than preferably a week. I know you guys are just addicted to the day trade. I get it, but this is gold is pulling back. This is actually a perfect time to be buying right now. Just look at, oh my God, just because the macro, as I just posted on my Instagram, folks, don't think this pullback in gold and silver and the shiny metals today is a time to sell. Look, the case for higher gold, higher silver prices has already been made. There's the next stimulus package, all right? The next stimulus package is inevitable. We got 15 million people, 25, actually I think it's 25 million people, unemployed. It's inevitable that those $1,200 checks are going back out again. It's just inevitable. You're going to have higher gold prices. They've been printing money like crazy. And if you're stupid money, all you've been doing is waiting for this $1,200 check. If you're smart money, you've been in the market. All right? The idiots got $1,200 over the last 6 months, and the smart people got $2.5 trillion. Just boom, dumped into them. Money Green says, "Fuck that day trading; it'll break." I learned that a long time ago. You know, when I went into swing trading and when I went into the iron condor, oh my God, that's a whole different part of trading. I saw it. I just like, dude, why? You know, this whole idea of trading and your heart beating all crazy and you're winning 50% of the time, you're losing 50% of the time. It's like, okay, hold up. If I make my trades 30 days or longer, all of a sudden I'm at like 75% profitability. If I go out to 65 days, I'm almost right 90% of the time. And I've spent less than anything in commissions. Obviously, stock, you don't do commissions anymore, but I'm playing futures and stocks. But on the future side, I'm buying one trade, spending basically nothing. Shout out to everybody in the building right now. Kenny Dunn, Money Green, James Denson, Michael Black, everybody in the building who's still up right now. I honestly just thought I'd be up on, by myself, talking to myself. Tesla spilling, it's ridiculous what's going on in Tesla. Tesla's been insane. I'm just not a fanboy like that, but for those guys who've been in Tesla, they've been making really, really good money. And they're splitting only to attract more investors because they honestly believe if they split and go down to, what are they proposing? I think it was it 5 for 1? So if we go 5 for 1 at where it is right now, 5 into 15, 3 times, so 3, we're at 1, so right, $315 something, right? So yeah, you're going to bring in a lot more, new money at the $300 level. Say goodbye to the valuation of the stock, but you're going to be bringing in a lot of money. People don't care about the valuations anymore. I'm over it. I'm over valuations. I used to be big into valuations for those of you guys who are, but nobody cares no more. Nobody cares no more. Amazon is going to $2 trillion. This man who basically pays no taxes is now going to be or projected to be possibly the first trillionaire in world history. If this continues on, I think they got a clock on it somewhere. We don't obviously plan to maintain this pace for the next 5 to 10 years, but he's on track within 10 years to possibly become a trillionaire himself. Not the company, him. I'm not talking about the company. What's going on, Mr. JRH, Stock Trapper, SC Trucker? What's going on, everybody? Glad to see you guys are still trading. I know Corona did a real injustice to a lot of people. In hindsight, what an incredible buying opportunity, right? It's easy to say that now, but boy, when it was going down, that was scary. That was scary. But again, hindsight. But, this was something I was already on before all this. Just stick to these moving averages, man. You don't even have to guess. Pick one that you really like and trust it, depend on it, wherever it goes. It's not going to be guaranteed, but whatever that time frame is, stick to it. And it'll work out for you. It's above that moving average going higher, you follow that. It's below that moving average going lower, you follow that in the time frame that you trust. Yes, indeed. So you got into IGC, 97 cents. What is IGC? Oh, okay. All right. OTC man. 256. What is that? A reverse split? Oh, it looked like it actually just took off. I'm going to be honest with you. It's been a long time since I looked at anything OTC. Apple, Tesla, who's next? Yeah, Apple's splitting. Apple is splitting too, right? Am I right on that? No, I don't think Apple split. It's just Tesla. Excuse me. I think it's just Tesla. Thank you as I get a sip of this Colt 45. Always goes down like the first time, man. I'm sipping on it because I'm not trying to embarrass myself. Start talking all crazy on here. Apple is going. Oh wow, 41. Okay, yeah. I mean that's a slamming buy right there, man. That's going to be a slamming buy. You know, that's going to be a slamming buy. 41 Apple. I mean that. Oh wow, that's going to be a crazy buy. I mean, you're going to have people who, you know, I can buy Apple shares, particularly with what's been going on. For those of you guys who've been watching YouTube really over the last year, but really I noticed in the last 6 months with this whole COVID thing, I mean, just this huge explosion in day trading content, particularly in Forex, and you know, everybody all of a sudden wants to be a stock market kind of guru type person, you know. But you'll eventually fall because I feel like a lot of them don't really love it. So the truth will come out on that end, but it's been an explosion of content. So with this reverse split in Apple, you're going to see a huge amount of demand. You're going to see them really push their followers into that Apple stock. So it reminds you of the old shows. Oh yeah, nothing changed with my presentation and style. You know, I'm still keeping it 100% real. That's why you guys like me, and that's why you watch me, compared to a lot of these other guys who, you know, they can talk stocks, but they can't really talk about much else. Money Green says it's a fad. What's a fad, Money Green? You mean the hype behind like the whole hustle stock market culture right now? That's really big right now, man. It's a lot of new faces on the scene right now. And I mean, as somebody who loves this game, you know what I mean? As much as I can tell, they don't really love it, man. They don't, it's you know, it's a hustle right now for a lot of people. You know, this whole, look how much I'm making on the market. I mean, it's a real hustle. They don't really love it, you know. They don't really love it, man. No, I'm not trying to be greasy. I mean, you can just tell, man, they don't really love it. Yes, indeed. You know, but going back to, you know, JNUG, which is one thing I'm pushing right now on Instagram, is, man, this is another one that's really just kind of getting started. The gold miners. I got a video coming out tomorrow called Best Silver ETFs and Gold ETFs as well, just because there's not really much content on YouTube about that. So I want to put a video out there that would just list it all for people. JNUG is another one that's just getting started. This is the gold miners. You know, if you can't afford to buy the physical metals, which is honestly probably the best way to go, is to buy physical metal. You know, futures metal, I get what people have an issue with the futures, because right now, you know, the shiny metals are sold in the futures as just contracts where people just sell them back and forth and they don't actually take delivery. But there will be a time one day where people are going to want to take delivery. And there are more futures options contracts on gold than there is gold to deliver. So if you're long and you're not going to be able to afford to take delivery, and then there's a shortage of gold, you're SOL. The only way to defend yourself from that is to be investing in either gold stocks, right, or gold, ETFs like this, like JNUG. But that's way down the line. That's not anytime soon. I mean, we're talking like, gold has got to be trading at like 10,000. You know what I'm saying? That's when people are going to be like, fuck, I want the physical shit. I want the physical. The moving average right now on the screen is 20. Is the 20 moving average. Is the 20 moving average right now on the screen. Is the 20 moving average right now on the screen. All right? And a 20 moving average is really interesting because it's a moving average where, the further the stock goes away, either up or down, it comes back to it. So let's take, for example, QQQ, and let's go to a daily chart. It's more appropriate. QQQ has been a runner. But if you notice, let's take a look at QQQ. When it goes too far from the 20, it'll come back. Too far, come back. Too far, come back. And that pullback, and this happens to many stocks. It's a simple moving average. Simple moving average. That pullback is where you buy. That pullback is where you buy. All right? On an uptrend. If you notice. So that's how the 20 moving average works. And it's really good. All right? It works really good that way. And it does that in multiple time frames. I like the daily because it's, again, the daily, when we're talking about a daily chart, we're talking about, upwards of, 38, 25 to 38 million trades a day. All right? Well, not trades, but shares per day. Trades, it could be, 50,000, 60,000. Well, probably a lot more than that. A couple million trades per day. Whereas, on a minute chart or 2 minute chart, you could be looking at maybe just, depending on the volume of the stock, a couple hundred, a couple thousand trades. And that's how people get effed over because you don't have enough data on the smaller time frames. But yes, this is the 20 moving average on a simple moving average. Heard the COMEX default story, lack of physical metal ever since 2005. Vinny, it's absolutely it's the case. They don't have enough actual physical metal to deliver all on those futures contracts. For example, on the 21st, you're going to have even more leverage, right? For example, we get on the future side about 1 to 100 when you're talking about some of those SPX futures options on the minis, but now we're going to have the micro E-minis, right? So that's even smaller. That's even smaller. That's even more leverage. So you're going to go now from 1 to 100 to technically 1 to 1,000 leverage. Insane. With no PDT. No PDT. It's a game changer, man. It's a real game changer, but it's going to fuck over a lot of people who don't know what they're doing because they're not going to be able to, use, because they don't know those non-directional trading strategies, right? That could deliver, 80, 90% probability of success. So let me know, guys, what are you guys looking at right now? Crude hasn't done anything. It's been, settling for the most part. Here is a ETF that's based on crude. Hasn't done much just because, crude in itself, has been pretty much going sideways for quite a while now. Let's go in the weekly chart. You'll see it on the weekly. But this one was dead. It's called Gush, a leveraged ETF on crude, which is basically sitting on the floor right here. But again, I don't see an explosion of crude prices coming anytime soon because we're just not seeing it in the data right now. We saw a spike a day ago on the Russia vaccine news, which was basically a dud because nobody's going to take that vaccine here in the United States. I think they're already putting in paperwork to get it banned here because it hasn't been tested on basically anybody. So it's we're still a long ways away from solving this situation. We're still a long ways away from solving this situation. For a long time, I was like, man, I couldn't understand it. I mean, all these people are losing their jobs. I'm going downtown. It's a ghost town down there in any city you're in. I mean, the downtown area is virtually a ghost town. And then it just doesn't match up when I'm looking at, the stock market, right? It doesn't match up. I can understand QQQ. But when I see, the S&P 500, I don't get it. But then again, you have to understand what resources have been put into the market. You have to understand that we're also at 0% interest rate. You also have to understand that if there was any decline, like a massive correction, we will immediately enact negative interest rates in this country. It will be immediate. They can say they wouldn't do it and it'll cost and it'll be bad for financials, blah, blah, blah. They will immediately enact negative financial rates, negative federal funds rate if there's a big correction. And the price of gold will just soar. I mean, it will just, you think 2,500 when we go to negative interest? Oh, man. I mean, look what it's doing now. Look what it's doing now at zero. Now, imagine if we go to, negative 25 basis points. You're talking 3,000 gold easy. The amount of debt that would have to be, paid back. I mean, you're basically talking every bank basically becoming virtually insolvent. I mean, they're already insolvent, but, you wouldn't be able to make money. Now, if you got shitty credit, you're always going to be paying a lot of money. But if you're prime rate credit, I mean, you're 710 or higher, they can't charge you shit. I mean, they can't charge you shit now. You got people. I just read on CNBC there was a bank that just came out with a 1.9% 30-year mortgage. If you're prime now, you're not paying anything. So you're taking out money, you're borrowing against whatever assets you have, and where are you putting it? You're putting it in the market, and that's what's driving a lot of this action. It's people being able to get access to very inexpensive money and purchasing stock. Purchasing stock. With the idea that when things come back, earnings will recover and we'll just be up and upward. Now, the problem is that how long is it going to take for earnings to recover? Because, if we get a very bad, Q1, I think people are going to understand. But if, I'm talking March of next year, people will be like, but if we start going into, July of 2021 and there's no recovery yet, that's going to be a danger zone, man. Look at ADT. Google bought this last week. Yeah, I mean, ADT's been an interesting one. I mean, that's, home security product as well as business. And I know they do stuff with banks and vault protection and all of that stuff. So But I mean, I'm thinking we're getting rid of cash. I mean, that's what I've seen anyway. I feel like the government is low key trying to get rid of cash because you go into the store and they're like, "Oh no, this is a cash only machine. I mean, credit only." Yes, sir. Do you have? Are you using card? Card only. It's like they don't even want the cash. You said when weed stocks going start pumping, man. I don't. Do people still play weed stocks? I just feel like that's been such a letdown. So many people got burned on weed stocks. People lost a lot of money. You guys remember? I don't know how long you've been trading, but there used to be like a little gang on Twitter called the little wolves, and they all had like little wolf avatars, always pumping weed stocks. They all went broke. The leader, Wolf of Weed Street, he's still on Twitter, but for the most part, they lost millions of dollars as a group. What's going on, Dawson? I saw your comment. You changed it to your business name. Okay, that's what's up, man. Combo Contracting Tree Service. That's what's up, man. Dawson, did you get any of those government programs? The PPP loans or anything like that? Shout out to those business owners who got those. I did short ZM Vinny as well. If you look on my Twitter, back on the 24th of July, I actually did it the day before, but I posted it on the 24th. I shorted, well, I didn't short, I actually sold the 260 calls for August 21st, and it's been one of the most lucrative calls that I've made in quite a while. That was a great trade. They were going for $9. I had been watching them when they were at like $19 back, when early mid-July. They were like $19, $20. And, when they got, cut 50%, I said, okay, this is going down. And you started to see the consolidation in it and the moving average becoming very, the RSI, right? Lower high on that RSI, right? On the second attempt, that's another sell signal. When a stock attempts to make a new high, but unfortunately, cannot create a new RSI high, that's a beautiful sell signal. And it followed through. I'm kind of surprised that I sell them in a spread. I've never ever sold a call or a put naked. Wouldn't even dare do that. I always sell those in spreads. If I ever mention selling a call or selling a put, it's always a spread trade. I'm surprised you're going long on Snap. Snap is one of those things where I think they'll be out of business in 5 years. I think Snap will be gone. I just don't see. I mean, now with Reels, I don't know. I just don't see where the hype is anymore on Snap. Maybe because I haven't taken a look at the new numbers and if there's user engagement, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just lost on that world. Yeah, Kenny Dutton. I mean, I saw you mention gold twice there. I'm all in it, man. I'm gold, silver. I think it's just an exciting place to be in the precious metals. It's something that I've been talking about for 2 years. As I mentioned in my last video, I've had my good friend Jonathan Bogan. We've just been trying to really get people into gold and silver. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. We're printing money here on the U.S. side, but outside of America, these third world countries are printing money like crazy. I mean, their economies will take years to recover from this. Particularly some of the developing countries in South America that were just really on the up and up. Brazil and Argentina. And I mean, these are countries that were, getting themselves together. But now with COVID, I mean, they've been set back maybe 10 years. Contrarian thinker, what's going on, man? Snap has a UA of 29 calls for 9. Okay. Have you guys seen what the crypto space? Yeah, I've been watching the crypto space. Man, shout out to Bitcoin. I mean, it's out. It's underperformed gold, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like it should be higher. I feel like it should be higher, not because I want it higher. It's just from what everything that we had been sold about cryptocurrency. They were talking like we were going to go to 250,000 or something like that, man. So to see it right now at 11 with everything that's happened, I feel like it's a disappointment. I feel like it's a disappointment. They had us talking like, this thing was going to be way higher than it is now, maybe double than than it is now. Don't try to sell like 11,000 is impressive, bro. You were talking 50, 60,000 in 2018, and here we are at 11,000, where you still have probably millions of bag holders still. Still till today. So I'm not impressed with the cryptocurrencies. I have seen, I had like $400 in Monero. That went up. I'm not going to touch that just because I want a little exposure. If it happens, great. But, I don't know. I just feel like it's been a letdown, man. Yeah, BitConnect is, but you're going to start seeing some of that BitConnect action come back if this really does end up taking off again. They'll be back. You got to remember BitConnect fell apart because it started coming down. They couldn't pay the old owners, right? The people on top with the flow at the people at the bottom, because the people at the bottom started, less interest came in. Less money started coming in. They couldn't pay everybody, so it fell apart. And what's crazy about BitConnect, nobody went to jail for BitConnect, by the way. I don't think anybody went to jail for BitConnect. Even this brother who, basically made himself the face of BitConnect, I think he ended up having to give out a lot of money, but, he didn't go to jail for it. He's still making cryptocurrency videos. OKTA. What was OKTA again? Technology Services Company. Okay, tech stock. What is this OKTA? Is like a CrowdStrike type of thing? FNGD, man. I mean, I was looking at it. I'm like, man, this is, it started leveling out. I'm thinking, okay, we might get a nice little correctional in the Qs because we had run hard. I talked about it when it was at 16.15. We're only $3 lower than that. But, man. In a video I made about how to properly use the RSI, we talk about how, bearish action in the RSI is really between 20 and 60, right? And bullish action begins at 40 to 80. And as you can see, it just has a real inability to really take off, right? 40 is resistance. And you'll notice this a lot too in stocks that are being extremely bearish, where it cannot, get above 40 RSI, but for sure cannot get above 60 RSI. 60 RSI will tend to be a huge wall that it can never, go above. I don't know. Here's that Hertz thing. I don't know why people are trying to keep Hertz alive. I never understood that. Where would I start with options if I only had $1,100? Man, I'd probably start, Man, the pullback is here, but man, that would have been a great opportunity for you to sell some Apple calls. I mean, sell some Apple puts, buy some Apple calls. Now you're a bit overextended. If I'm you, I'd probably buy some GLD calls. I think GLD would be a really great pick right now for somebody who only has $1,100. You go into GLD, go out, preferably more than 30 days, the furthest you possibly can. Go deep in the money as far as you can. A lot of people like the out of the money calls, but the real secret, the real money is really made in the money calls. If you can go 1% below the current price, if you can afford that beyond 30 days, that's where you can make some really good money and start to build an account. That's worth holding on to. All right, so I'd be in the precious metals. I think, that's one of the safest places to be. If you were talking 3 months ago, I'd slap Apple, slap Tesla. But at this point, we're getting up there. We're getting up there. I mean, you can look at the QQQs and you just, pull up a weekly, right? You pull up a weekly. Again, how do the moving averages work? Once they get too far, they come back. And as you can see, we're already showing some consolidation candlesticks, all right, for what this is supposed to be this week. It's up there, man. It's up there. We hit 70 RSI coming into this week. Which it's not saying that we can't go further than that, because as you can see here, we have, right? Going into 2020, we went way beyond that. So we could keep going. We can do it again. But gold has been moving up along with the Qs, so you're going to win either way. No, we're not selling naked options. We're doing spreads. You can sell spreads on Amazon for $300. Again, we're not selling these options naked. Remember, you're selling an option and buying an option. Yeah, look into that, guys. Look into what's called bull put spreads. Or you can call vertical. Yeah, you can call vertical spreads as well. You can do it that way as well. But yeah, I mean, you can those are some of the most inexpensive ways to get into trading high quality stocks like Amazon, like Tesla. I got a guy right now who's doing those in stocks like Walmart, and I mean, he just likes those kind of things. He's kind of selling, the fact that they'll never get beyond his moving average, and it's working for him. I mean, nice, slow, boring stocks. He doesn't take in a lot of credit, just because they're boring stocks that don't have a lot of volatility. So he doesn't take in a lot of credit, but he's right overwhelmingly a lot of the time, because you're just not going to see Walmart crash and burn. It's all different strokes for different folks. Now what's great about the commodities right now is that the credits are huge right now, just because there's so much money flowing into the calls. So you're taking in a lot of premium on those spreads. They're far more expensive than they were just 4 or 5 months ago. You can buy some SLV calls for pennies on the dollar a couple months ago. Now it's these SLV calls, they're pretty expensive for the price. SLV is still silver in general, still the cheapest precious metal out there, but it's also one that offers the potential for the highest ROI dollar for dollar, as these continue to go up in value. There's more stimulus to come. That's when people say, well, what's your thesis behind higher price? Well, just more stimulus. There's going to be more money printing. Significant amount more money printing is going to take place. And if you think it's going to be, there's a lot now under Trump. If Biden wins, there's going to be a whole lot of printing. There's been a whole lot of printing. Remember that $1,900 gold price we had got to, that was under Obama. That was under Obama after he had signed one of the biggest. What was this? Yeah, this is September 2011. That was under the Obama administration. All right. That was all under the Obama administration. Now I got to go back and study what led to the pullback. I don't know if they had raised interest rates. I don't think we had raised it. I don't know what happened there in 2013. I got to go back and look at my history. But what caused the pullback there? Bell Alj. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Credit spreads. It's what I teach in the course, doing that on futures just because you get more leverage on the future side. But, yeah, I love trading that way just because I have a defined risk. You can take trades that have high probability. You might have to put up a little bit more money, but the likelihood of losing on the trades are significantly lower. The further you go out, the more a premium you can take in, but of course the more patient you have to be. And that's how they kind of get you, because they say, you're not going to be, you're not going to wait 30 days. You're not going to wait 60 days. You're not going to wait 45 days to make it happen. But if you got that discipline, it works out. Oh, what's going on, Poker Pro? Yeah, up late tonight. Once Tesla and Apple split, you're going to have a play day. What do you mean by that, LK Ra? I'm a little confused. Yeah, I love collecting premium. That's like getting a check. When you do a trade like that, you collect premium, you're getting paid. Now all you need to do is the market to follow through for you to keep the money. And while that premium, is wearing off that option, you're going to have the ups and downs. But as long as your probability of profit stays, preferably above 55%, it's, and they'll continue to go higher as it gets closer to expiration. But you're going to win. You're going to win. Yeah, Poker Pro's been around for a long time. A lot of you guys are OG dudes, though, in general. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Some of y'all been trading with me for 4 or 5 years. Back when I was pumping penny stocks and doing happy penny stocks and stuff like that. Broke as a joke, just trying to get some money for a trading account. Look at Nvidia, man. Nvidia has been a fucking beast. Nvidia is just, again, when we talk about, put selling strategies over the course of weeks at a time, you just look at Nvidia. It's like, dude, you sell a put on Nvidia just based on this chart. You basically have no losing months. You have no losing months. And don't think for a second that, there's not somebody out there who hasn't been doing that. I mean, there are people out there who do that. For example, financial institutions. Financial institutions never take losses trading. You will never hear of a bank taking a loss trading because that's how they trade. They will take, huge iron condor positions. They take huge, bull put spread positions on these stocks, right? They're going, one way and then using another position to hedge. So they just take trades where they don't lose, and they can do those trades with massive size. So they always win. You think gold's headed to 3,000? Oh man, there's a story for it to hit 5, but gold 3 is is the safe side for sure. Yeah, I could see 3. Definitely 3. I made in that video, I mentioned, I said, look, if you're under 65 years old, heck, if you're under 45 years old, right? God willing, you have at least 60 years of life left. Unless you have some type of genetic disorder, or you live next to a damn radiation field or something, you probably, if you're 45, you probably have 60 years to live, right? An 80-year-old today is not going to be an 80-year-old 40 years from now. An 80-year-old 40 years from now is going to be a much different kind of 80-year-old. He's going to be able to do way more. He's going to be able to, provide more in terms of just, still being cognizant of what's going on and whatnot, compared to many 80-year-olds today. So in an environment like that, where by then I figure space technology is a little bit way more advanced than it is now, in that scenario as well, there are many applications for gold to be used in that. So you're saying, okay, what are gold prices going to look like then? Right? And we can say that for sure they're going to be significantly higher. So, all right, well, then you can create a strategy now that implements just following that and whatever is going to be benefited by that. And you can start that now. I'll take a look at that in a minute. Kitty one. I said my call's in with Bats. Yeah, shout out to Bats. He's doing well. Ken, I talk to Ken like damn near every day on Twitter. Shout out to Bats. I gotta check in with him too. Yeah, you gotta have. I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I mean, a gold buyer 40 years ago, today he's caked up. You're a gold buyer 40 years ago, dude, you're fucking loaded. You could have worked a shitty job half your life. You're fucking loaded. You were one of those guys who were able to get, this is what, 1980s, where you were able to get it for 400, 4 or 5, And again, we're not talking options. Those options have been long expired. I'm talking guys who either were able to get some type of physical exposure to this commodity, where you're able to get a couple ounces every paycheck or every couple months or what. I mean, you're sitting on a nice little bag. You're sitting on a nice little bag. So you're up 400% AMD. AMD has been insane. AMD has been absolutely insane. Again, this is a stock that, when I started my show, we were talking about AMD at $6. Some of you guys may remember that. AMD was the $6 shitty stock that made, half-ass processors that we, wrongly, because we weren't that intelligent about the fact that their biggest rival wasn't necessarily Nvidia, but actually Intel. But that, now it's Intel for sure to be Intel, but, at the time, you only respected their graphics cards. Nobody gave a fuck about the K62 processors for all my computer nerds out there. For those of you guys who remember the AMD FX processors, 6300s, 6900s, those were, for the most part, third-class processors compared to Intel. So nobody gave a damn about the processor side of the business. People did like and respect their video cards. When Bitcoin started really taking off, people started noticing them. That's really when the hype started, right? It was when Bitcoin really started taking off. People were like, oh shit, I can go get instead of buying one Nvidia GTX, what at the time, what was 1050, I can get 3 AMD whatever processors, video, graphics cards, GPUs. So they took off like hotcakes. I mean, for a while there in 2018, it was hard to get graphics cards because everybody wanted to be a miner, if you remember. Everybody wanted to be a miner. There's, as you said, you don't want to buy gold ETF. They can be delisted anytime or liquidated. Well, you don't want to buy just any ETF. I mean, some ETFs are better than others. If there's a particular ETF I would put my money in, GLD and IAU would be one of the best. IAU because, it's backed by BlackRock, one of the largest financial, institutions in the world, if not the largest. iShares is owned by BlackRock. And GLD, I can't remember who's behind GLD, but I can tell you these are huge, huge companies, and those aren't going to be delisted for, anytime soon. In fact, GLD, what was that? Yeah, GLD goes back to 2005. We're talking 15 years. That's a long time for an ETF to be around. That's a long time for an ETF. These things come and go. For example, I was excited about an ETF called UGLD, which was basically GLD on steroids. It was a 3x leveraged GLD product. Now they delisted that and sent that to OTC. Now it's UGLDF, I think. Yeah, UGLDF. It still trades on steroids, but now, it's lost maybe 90% of its daily trading volume because now it's on the OTC side. So the degenerate Robinhood traders who were jumping in it back and forth like crazy when it was running really hard, they're not in it anymore. They're not in it. So it doesn't move the same way. But it was an insane play. I mean, here's May of 2019. When was that? Yeah, it went from like 90 to 280 or something. It was an insane. And it had a silver variant as well too, USLV F or DF. I don't know what it is now, but yeah, they got delisted. Said GLD follows SPY. If market crashes, gold crash. No, not necessarily. When there's a crash, understand that everything goes down. There's no, unless you're playing the inverse ETF of that particular product. When there's a crash in the market, like there was in COVID, go look it up. Everything went down because you don't know what's going on. So everybody sells everything. Everybody runs to the door because I don't know what the fuck is going on. I want cash too. You're not going to, if somebody yells fire and you smell smoke, you know what I'm saying? You guess what? You're not clocking out. I mean, you're running out the door. So I wouldn't take the way GLD and SPY and think that they kind of work together. No, those are very different products. When here's a crash, everything's coming down. But I got a good list of stocks that I'm talking about. Like if they come out tomorrow and they say, hey, we got a cure for this, these are the stocks I will buy. And if you got a moment, I'll share them with you. I'll make a video about this, but you'll get a sneak peek now. I'll be all over things like Play, which is Dave and Buster's. This is again, this is if COVID just, hey, we got the shot. Everybody's going to be forced to take it because that's what's going to happen. You're going to be forced to take it. All right. It's going to be like the selective service. If you ain't took it, guess what? You can't work here, or you can't get financial aid, or you can't go to school here. I mean, that's what it's going to be. I mean, it's, you can't fly. I mean, they're gonna make it like that. Play, one of them. Another one, Denny's. All right, I'm talking stocks that were winning going into COVID, but they're losing because of COVID. Denny's. All right, this could be 100% winner if this ends tomorrow. What's that? LUV, or I think it's LYU. Can't remember the ticker. LV, I think. Live Nation. Yep, Live Nation. All right. These are just tickers that I know I would just, boom, I would run into. Of course, the hotels. I mean, I go and grab the best of the best, which is Hilton. Because Hilton, you're going to get that exposure to those developing nations. That's really where you're going to get that big bang. You get those developing nations popping again with tourism, business. They got that young demographic. Of course, you got H2. H is out there, Hyatt, but Hyatt is more of a U.S. Of course, you want to get the airlines. I'd probably go with JetBlue. Right? DAL is another one. I do, of course, Delta Airlines. But those would be the stocks that I have on the list that I would really just kind of go in. DRI is another one. And DRI owns several chains. I believe DRI, what is, there are a couple of chains. Off the top of my head, I can't remember right now, but if you Google them, I know you'll find they got some really popular chains you've heard of. Southwest, Southwest is cool. Yeah, Southwest is cool. I think that when I had looked up Southwest, I was just like, I want to see more meat. Like if it was at like 15, you know what I mean? But Southwest would win too. Let's not get it twisted. Southwest would win too. I'm just talking a lot of the other ones that I pulled up. You're talking 100% easy. Save is another one. You're talking 100% easy. But of course, you want to look at what the stock was doing pre-COVID. Were they winning? You want to go into the stocks that were winning, but that are literally losing, because of, what we're going through right now. And, Live Nation in particular, those outdoor events, they make huge margins on those outdoor events. They just basically rent the space, set it all up, and, the space basically costs nothing. These tickets are, $300, $400 a pop. People make money flipping them. These artists makes huge amount of money doing these shows, and Live Nation makes a shitload of money doing these shows. So they were killing it before COVID, and now they can't make no money. They really should be a lot lower than they are now. If you notice, their Q2 earnings were basically zero. They lost a shitload of money. Yeah, play. Of course, you want to get some exposure to the restaurants, the cruise lines too. I'm not a big fan of the cruise lines right now, just because they got a lot of debt on the paperwork on the books right now, and the airlines, to be honest with you. But the airlines I know are going to be able to pay it. As soon as people get up and running again, business gets up and running again. But when I talk to a lot of people who work in these offices, they love working from home, man. A lot of people who work in these offices, they're like, fuck it. If I could work with this company from home for the rest of my life, I'd do it. Like, seriously, have you been talking to some of these people who work from home? They're like, man, I don't even want to go back to the office. I'm like, for real? They're like, yeah, I don't. If I could work from home on a computer, like, I really like this. I'm comfortable. I feel great. I go for my little thing. I don't have to worry about what to wear to work. I don't have to, what I'm going to get for lunch. I'm saving money. I'm like, wow. So I'm looking at office space, and I'm like, and a lot of companies, they're cool with it too. I mean, for example, you had Facebook said you don't even have to ever come back. Twitter said they're not going to ask anybody to come back all next year. So Twitter, the people who work, if you work at Twitter, you don't even have to come back 2021 at all. The banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, nobody's coming back at all this year until next year. See, American Airlines, the worst in airlines. Better than, worse than Spirit. Worse than Spirit? Spirit sucks, man. I've had the fly Spirit. Hey, Spirit sucks. And the people who work there know it sucks. Every airline sucks unless you're flying first class. That's what I want to say. Every airline, unless you're flying first class or just have you have a nice seat in business class or something like that, every airline sucks. Every airline first class is a pretty decent experience. International flights first class is, a set above all of that. Disney's a big one. Yeah, Disney's cool too. Disney's cool too. The problem I don't like with Disney, I feel like they're hyping it up, as you can see by the chart. I mean, it's running right now, and I don't understand that. I don't understand that right now. I feel like there's some funny business going on with Disney stock right now. Not, no evidence, just saying like it should be way lower than it is now with how much debt they got in those parks and all of that stuff. Should be way discounted. MGM is a good one too. But on the casino side, you can find some more regional casino plays that are a lot lower. The MGMs of the world, they have exposure to Macau and some of those that are pretty much are back in business. So you're just not getting that, you're not really getting if you were to get in there, you wouldn't be getting much ROI like you get on some of those regional plays. Does Caesars still have a ticker? I might be showing my age by bringing that up. And the only way I know Caesars is because back in the day, if you had a Sega Genesis, they had like these little casino games and stuff like that I think there was a Caesars game for Genesis. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. MGM hit that single digit. MGM hit that single digit. AMC, oh yeah, thank you. I forgot about AMC. But low key, I don't know if they're gonna survive, man. They need to hurry up. They need to hurry up and find a plan because, people are talking about if theaters are even gonna be around, low key. And I've already mentioned, like, I never felt safe after all these shootings that had been going on at Caesars. I was risking my freedom bringing my pistols to some of these, these theaters because, you'd go to the theater and watch, during the movie, somebody would come around the corner and you're like, okay, what you about to do? You about to do something? Because, don't act up because I'll put you down, man. You with your girl or you with your kid. For me, it's a nervous experience, because people are crazy. Yeah, man, because these folks are just crazy, man. People, you don't know what's going on. So, you watching the movie half over, and then you coming around the corner looking around like, okay, what's up, man? Say AMC not surviving. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Understand we have never, ever in the history of medicine created a vaccine for a coronavirus. This is uncharted territory. And will it be done? Absolutely. I have no doubt that a coronavirus vaccine will eventually take place. will eventually arrive, rather. You know, and as I said many times, I'm gonna let you be in line first. You're gonna get, version 1.0. I'll get version like 3.5. When version 3.5 comes, I'll take that one. I just want to see what happens to the 1.0 to the 2.0 first, because I'm convinced some of you are gonna have your balls fall off. Some of you are gonna have your titties start rotting. I mean, it's gonna be on that kind of level. It's gonna be on that kind of level because the first edition of anything is always broken. Always has some issues. I've never seen the first edition of any product, ever be flawless. That's from living in Detroit, seeing cars, to, even being a kid going through PlayStation. The first edition, there was always a problem with the first model of the PlayStation. Whatever model, whether PS2, PS3, the first model that comes out always has an issue. And fuck it, you want to get it first. So it's like, okay, I'll deal with it when it comes. But, the model after, the redesigned version, is always okay. Yeah. Hell no, man. I'm not taking that shit. I'm not letting my kid take that, man. You know what I mean? I'm not letting my kid take that, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just, these are for-profit companies we're talking about. We're not talking about like the government giving it out for free. And this is a for-profit company. J&J just signed $1 billion contract with the federal government for this thing. So, they're getting money for it. The thing ain't even done yet. It's not even finished yet. And they're like, oh, yeah, we got $1 billion in the bag. So it doesn't even matter what they put out, dude. It's like they already got paid. And I'm going to put that in my arm? Hell no. Hell no, man. Shit. He said the first model of the PS3 had backwards compatibility. Yeah, that was, that's true too. But it was also, if I remember, it was hard to upgrade in terms of like the hard drive and other type of that shit too. I might have the PS3 and PS4 back mixed up when I'm talking about that. And I also remember that fat PS3 having disk issues too. That's a different conversation. What's going on, Three Hooks? You still making music, man? What's going on, Marcus Brown? Yeah, and I really feel sorry for guys in the military because they're going to be the guinea pigs when this is all done, because Uncle Sam's going to make sure they're going to get it first. Uncle Sam's going to make sure they're going to get it first, and if you don't get it, it's going to be some problems for you. There's going to be some problems for you. So, them guys who are in uniform, you got a family member in uniform, pray for them, because they're not going to have a choice at all. They just put you in a big old line, and that's it. You ain't got a choice. I saw somebody ask about F. Somebody asked about F. They've been doing pretty well, man. I mean, coming off, the whole COVID thing. Here's the weekly. They got a new CEO. Is it a CEO, COO? I know they got a new guy in charge now. And he's promising to commit more to electric vehicles and whatnot. I mean, they're jumping on the hype too. But these are old companies that are going to be around. I don't know why they just don't get their act together and go after Tesla. I mean, they got the technology. I don't know what is it too hard to change over? Is it the mentality? I mean, what is it? I mean, they got Tesla wiping the floor with these companies, GM, Ford. They're just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. You know, these car companies have been like dead for the last really like 10 years. I mean, the last great things they've done are the Chargers and what's the Chevy side? I forgot that Chevy badass truck they got. The one that was in the black and yellow video. That's all I think about when I see those cars. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Am I on every day? No, man. I haven't been on in like months. I need to be on a lot more regular. Sucks that I'm leaving town though on Friday. I'll be back, but I definitely want to get back on. That's why I bought this computer. Any decent computer is fine for trading, but my computer that I had before was just, it had gotten where it could no longer do live streams as good as this one is handling now. I mean, it's better handling now. Like I said, 36 cores in this fucking thing, 2 GTX 1070 graphics cards, 200 gigs of RAM. I will never use this computer to its capacity. I'm almost embarrassed I have this much power. It's a Dell T7910. And this computer was, in its past life, a computer at Bank of America. And they got rid of it. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it, from the little computer store guy. He gave me a good deal for it. Tesla market cap is the size of Toyota, GM, and Ford. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, it's up there. But you got to understand, man. People are looking at Tesla and they're saying, man, what are the other things this company could be in? They're already going into. They already started their own insurance company. They got the little solar thing. Now they do the space thing. I think SpaceX is literally, I don't know, is it truly a separate company or is it under Tesla? So if it's under Tesla, then I can see the justification for that market cap. And then you got the little fake pump and dump Tesla company out there, Nikola or whatever, which is, I don't know how people can get away with that, man. How you can get away with being a publicly traded company. I think is it NKLA? Yeah. Yeah, with the what's the market cap on this? It was 16 billion. I think up here was at like 40 billion. And not have a physical example of your product. Did they ever show that? I don't think they ever showed it. You think there will be college football and NFL this year? No. The Big Ten already canceled. Big Ten is out. SEC will follow through. It's not even that they don't want to play. It's the liability, man. Because if you go to the stadium, you get sick, man. You could hold some of these schools liable for getting you sick. Hey, they didn't do enough cleaning. Hey, they didn't make sure people were tested at the gate. Hey, they didn't. I mean, that's a lot of liability. The liability question hasn't been answered yet. That's why a lot of people are working from home. That's why, trust me, if America's legal system wasn't so sue happy, which is a good thing. I mean, we should be able to sue people who harm us and who create products that hurt people. A lot of people, these companies will have you working, bro. These players would be out there right now and like nothing happened. But because you have, trial lawyers who can get paid millions, billions of dollars in class action lawsuits, you're not going to take the risk. You're like, okay, everybody go home. Nah, we're not going to open up the stadium. Nah, we're not going to play no games. Because we're going to sue your ass. I mean, you go to some of these colleges like Notre Dame or U of M and with these huge endowments, I go to the stadium just to get sick. Look, I landed in the hospital after go to that U of M Ohio State game, man. They didn't clean them seats. How about y'all, cut me a check for 45,000 and call it a day? Yeah, why not? Shit, man, this is America, man. They know about the finesse. You said get a Heineken. Yeah, this is a Colt 45. I'm sipping on it, man. I'm not even doing it justice right now. Getting warm in my hand. You said get a Heineken. You're not a real man unless you drink Schlitz. Shout out to anybody who knows what Schlitz is. You're not a real man if you don't drink Schlitz. If you go back in the day, man, when you don't have a lot of money, you got $10, you get a 24 pack of Schlitz, which is shits. That's when I know you're a real man. He said, I hope I don't have an underlying condition. What do you mean underlying condition of what? Yeah, that Schlitz is the truth, man. Does Ticketmasters have stock? I don't think so. I was looking at the company that owns the New York Knicks and the stadium. I forgot what their ticker is, but they're not even as low as I thought they would be. He said that's the cheap version of Steel Reserve. Really? I didn't know that. Schlitz is the cheap version of Steel Reserve? I didn't know that. It said Ford should be so much higher. I don't understand it. They need to rebrand their cars. Well, I mean, it is what it is. I wish Honda, traded on the regular exchanges. I don't know why these cars don't. They still sell. Oh yes, Old English 800 is still out there. I saw Old English on the shelf. In fact, I was going back and forth with this or Old English, but I chose the reliable. I chose the workhorse. That Colt 45 malt liquor. I was mad they didn't have the paper bag. I mean, how you sell Colt 45 and you don't have a paper bag, man? Come on, man. It don't even look right without the paper bag. You got to have the paper bag with it, man. If you're from the hood, you know what I'm talking about. You used to see them old men with the paper bag and the malt liquor in the bag. Say you drink Old English. You say you can't touch malt liquor anymore. Why not? Yeah, but it's been real crazy, man, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's a lot of unemployed women out here because you got to remember with what's going on with COVID, the biggest group of people to lose their jobs were women because women do a lot of service work. So, man, my DM started going crazy after a couple months after. This was like before that $600 money started coming out. Boy, my DMs were, whoo, just, oh, what you doing? Oh, okay, because they trying to bust it open for some change. You know what I mean? So I'm like, no, I already know what you want. I'm good, man. Because when women are in the mode of just trying to hustle for some resources, they put that Cleopatra spell on you. Next thing you know, Cash App and 200, Cash App and this and Cash App and that. You got to be careful, man. But once that $600 per week thing came out, man, let me tell you, the same girl who was, DM telling you she want to slob on your knob and all that, that stopped. That was like, you know what I mean? Them checks was just like male repellent. Them checks were male repellent. You know what I mean? Yeah. You say hitting up the Food Lion store. You used to call yourself the Blue Dogs. You can't drink regular liquor anymore either because you get crazy heartburn. Oh, okay. One light beer, that's it. I get drunk too much yak, vodka. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, alcohol leaves its effects on you, man. I don't drink it too crazy, but unless I'm with like a lady friend or a group of guys. But no, I'm not. We don't have any alcoholics in the family or anything like that. In fact, growing up, I felt like I couldn't get addicted to anything. You know, I felt like I couldn't get addicted to anything. Even smoking weed, I smoke. I used to smoke weed. I feel like, why is nothing happening to me? Why am I not like laughing like I see in the movies and stuff? You know. In hindsight, it's because I had to get a lot of the cheap stuff. That's what they were giving to me. AGQ, no, yeah, AGQ is a play pro style. I've mentioned that on my Instagram at Tracking Market on Instagram. AGQ is a great silver play. It's a leveraged ETF, and it's a great, nice little 3 month to 6 month kind of hold if you want to play silver. You really can't go wrong with the commodities right now. You really, really can't go wrong. You can't really go wrong with that over a multi-month, multi-years kind of scenario. But like I said, these commodities were some of the best, if not the best, plays in my portfolio over the year. These were things we had been in since March of 2019. Just slowly adding to positions. I know a lot more about them now than I did before. It was just GLD or SLV and stuff. Didn't even know about IAU and AAAAU and a bunch of the whole other ones that are out there. JNUG, Nugget. I had heard of those, but didn't know what was in them until things really started getting hot. And then you see how, wow, okay, JNUG has futures contracts for gold a month in advance, and it has some of the gold miners in it. It's like, it's gold steroids. Yeah, it was that, man. I was smoking grass basically. It was grass. Roku. I kind of forgot about Roku. Roku is a nice little COVID stock. I'm surprised it didn't do better than it is. Why did it? I'm surprised that Roku isn't higher than it is right now, which is a big surprise because if you remember, Netflix took off. COVID was like the best thing that ever happened for Netflix. If you remember, I mean, like everything, it sold off, but people were like, oh shit, okay, everybody gonna be home? Boom, and it just took off for weeks. COVID, Netflix was a huge winner. Went into earnings, showed, 20 million something new customers. It was off the chain. Now I think they might be headed downwards just because things are, we're coming on the other side of this thing. But we're still going to be home for a while. Nobody's going, I could see this very well going into March of next year. A lot of people say that's ridiculous, but I can see it. I can really see it. You got to be careful with some of these city leaders trying to force your kids to go back to school and being in that classroom when we really still don't understand how this affects children long term. Then we're now starting to find out people who get over COVID can get it again. So it doesn't actually really go away. That this thing is acting like HIV, where it's kind of one of those things where it goes dormant, but it's still there. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So we're learning a lot about these things right now. But getting back to the market, man, just continue to Now of course we're at some of these RSI levels that are pretty scary. But um, let's zoom in now on the weekly. Oh, this actually is the weekly. Excuse me. Let's go on the daily chart. All right. So again, we're consolidating here, zooming on some of these. Uh, this is actually pretty bullish, but we didn't really successfully. Yeah, I mean, I can see Monday, tomorrow being. Where are we at right now? Let's go to the futures and see U.S. Okay, so we're sideways today, or tonight for now anyway. But yeah, we're consolidating a little bit already. Like I said, when we get too far from that 20, we're gonna come back and touch it. Always gonna come back and touch that 20 moving average. So your friend got it 3 times, intubated twice. Oh man, I can't imagine. Called the COVID-19. Jeez. Said Netflix and chill time. Oh yeah, man. Going into this, people were talking about that we're gonna have like an explosion of babies. Ain't nobody trying to, have no kid through this, man. People aren't even thinking this. You got so many unemployed people out here, women stressed out. A lot of them who, particularly like some of the girls that I hang out with, they weren't even saving the $600 because they low key thought it was going to be something permanent. And now that $600 is gone, and they're saying now it's going to go down to 400 or 300, whatever it is. They didn't really save the money, so people are real stressed out about the future. A lot of times that 600 did go to rent. These social services really, don't really give that much money for you to really ball on. So you got a lot of stressed out people out here, man. A lot of people are stressed out. So the new baby boomers will be born in the 2030s. We'll see. You got people calling for a deflationary spiral. Technology is in itself inherently deflationary because any product that increases efficiency is deflationary, in itself. But that we're still seeing prices, go higher for technology, right? Getting higher and higher and higher. They're saying it's costing more and more to build. I can see in terms of the resources, but if you're more efficient in creating the product, how could they now be just $1,500 for a decent phone? And you're telling me that technology is continuing to make my life easier and easier, but it seems like everything I do with technology is becoming more and more expensive. So where's the mask? Yeah, I wear a mask everywhere I go. I don't play around with this thing, man. I am not playing around with this thing. I'm not like some of these people out here. I don't need a mask. I'm not playing around, dude. You go to some of these hospitals, dude. You got some of these nurses that don't give a fuck. Got these doctors who don't give a fuck, bro. You will die, man. These people don't care. Don't even allow them to be in a position just to not give a damn about you. When a couple of weeks ago when Herman Cain died, that's when I was like, whoa. Okay, this is. I knew it was for real, but when when Herman Cain died, that's when it was just like, wow, okay. But shout out to Herman Cain. I respect the fact that he was a coon to the end. The brother was a coon to the end, and went out there to that rally. Probably caught it there or caught it around before then at that time or somewhere else, because I heard supposedly he had been traveling that whole month. And, his age and the fact that he was a cancer survivor, it took him out quick. It took him out real quick. So rest in peace, Herman Cain. Rest in peace, Herman Cain. Oh, man. So you wear a mask, but it only helps 20 to 30%. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel better. I'm wearing my mask. I'm keeping my distance from people. I'm not shaking hands, and you know what I'm saying? I'm keeping my distance from people. I'm not going out if I don't need to go out. If I can order it to my house, I'll order it to the house, even if I'm paying a little extra. Because like I said, man, it's just, I'd rather deal with the inconveniences than being put in the hospital. Because once you're in the hospital and you can't do anything for yourself, boy, that's a tough position to be in, man. That's a tough position to be in. And you just got to hope and pray these people care about you enough to save your life. The highest phone bill you ever had. Start investing in TELUS. What is that? Is there a ticker for that? So Herman Cain, the truest trumpeter. Yeah, Herman Cain was in there early too. Shout out to Herman Cain, man. He was on the Trump train early. Like, Herman Cain was in there like 20, like literally at the beginning. No hesitation. And if you remember, Herman Cain was destined to be in the White House in a certain position, but then, the liberals had brought out some kind of sex scandal he had like back in like 2008 or something like that. You know how they do. But Herman Cain was going to be working in the White House. Yeah, Mr. 999. Which is actually isn't that bad of a plan. You say Apple may drop a cheaper iPhone. Well, is it 5G? Is it 5G? Yeah, but shout out to Apple. The most recent Apple model, the iPhone 11, was their best-selling model of all time. I didn't even think it was doing that well. I had no idea it was doing that well. Because this was one of the few iPhones where we didn't really get the numbers like that. Obviously, there were a lot of other things going on, but we didn't really get the numbers like that. You say, I see your brothers living in DR, Colombia, and Brazil. You're trading live as an expat. Mr. JRH, you're in another country right now? I'm really jealous of these guys who trade internationally because they get these brokerages that trade the indices with huge leverage, like 300, 400 to 1. But unfortunately, they're not really smart because what they're doing is they're trading Forex when they really should be just sticking to the indices like US 30, US 100, and Tech 100, and huge in that, using that huge leverage to just go long US indices. But instead, they're trading their bullshit currency, Brazil real to dollar, and which ain't wrong. I mean, if you're making money, you're making money, but because they just don't know. They don't know how rigged our systems are, where they go up. Best selling and significantly lower in price. Mr. JRH, you said not yet, but hopefully by 2022. There we go, man. Set your dream, bro. Set your dream. Very much possible. I got off a call with this brother who's living in Uganda. I forgot his real name, but they call him King Obatunde, and it's just a little nickname. But his rent, he's a 2-bedroom apartment in Uganda, high speed internet, $175 a month. He said his food comes out to about $80 a month. You know, basically everything out the door. His living expenses in total were like less than $480 to $520 a month. I'm like, dude, I destroyed living in, with, of course, plus your internet. Um, but yeah, I mean, living in another country is possible. It's just, again, being away from family and whatnot. But if they're cool with it, then do it. What I think about Kamala and Biden, man, it don't even matter, bro. As the older I'm getting, I'm realizing it don't even matter. These all these people on the same team. They all the same to me. Making promises they can't keep. They all the same. You look at the way Trump spent money, you might as well call him a Democrat, dude. TLT. Yeah, I mean, I gotta learn how to trade TLT. I'm not a fan of the bonds. I gotta reacclimate myself to that. You said go to Washington. They're all in the same place. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they kick it with each other, man. And you can Google pictures of Trump and Hillary and Trump and Bill, and these people kick it with each other, man. Like, and with us, they kind of put on the act like they're really against each other, but dude, they send each other birthday cards. Their kids hang out together. They go to school together, the same little elementary schools, and I mean, these people are like family friends, man. When you're in that clique, like, you're in. You know, they know they're just both putting on an act and stuff. Bond market could possibly rise if banks destroy PM. Well, I mean, well, Pro Star, what do you mean by PM? I have an idea, but I want to make sure that's what you're talking about. So you're short in both TLT and UUP? Okay. Let me see. I'm not gonna keep you guys up for much longer. I just want to see where you guys' head was at. Okay. What do you guys think about how they got rid of TVIX? I know some of you guys traded that, but yeah, got rid of TVIX. And shout out to the VIX, man. When the VIX got elevated back in March, and I mean, these iron condors, the premiums were ridiculous. Oh my God, I've never seen that kind of money come into the market on those premiums. I mean, those puts, you do an iron condor, and the put sides were just so fat, dude. Shit. You got to one point where, those 2200 SPX puts were like hundreds of dollars. It was ridiculous. All right, Marcus Brown, thank you for checking in, man. Appreciate you, bro. Desert Edge, thank you so much, man. I know y'all got to go to bed, man. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to kick people out here in a minute myself. Your JPM dumped a bunch of SLV, which caused silver to take a dive. Could be. But, the case overall is still long for both of those. The case overall is still long for both of those. Right now, the problem, like I said, we're just overextended. If you're looking for some money to be made here, like I said, I think you can still buy some great quality calls in the metals. If not, I think the value stocks are having some plays, had some opportunities. Here's Honeywell. That was looking really good for a while there when it had came back down. And they had a nice little move here from the 140s to 160. I missed that move. Um, but it was looking really nice. This is what I would call deep value. Value where this is just very small, low PE companies, small and stable. Let me see here. I doubt financials. Yeah, financials still showing a lot of weakness there. But I mean, I still think tech is very, very safe. You know, tech is very, very, very safe right now. Here's Microsoft looking healthy again, right? Again, coming back to that 20 moving average, pulling back about beyond it, and now coming back low PSI, low RSI level. You're at 50. I mean, this thing is looking like it's setting back up for a nice little run into the higher 200s. I'd definitely watch Microsoft for it to set a new high very soon. I think it very could well set a new high. Facebook, I don't know what they were trying to do with Facebook. They had been trying to dog this stock for so long, and it just kept going. It just kept going. Yeah, Nvidia is still doing very, very well. Nvidia is still doing very, very well. Again, I had brought up Nvidia earlier because if you're looking at a monthly chart or a weekly chart, it's been an incredible winner. Again, you can use a simple moving average strategy. I like the 20 on these tech stocks. On a lot of stocks, I figured the 20 is just works. It slaps that 20. It's a great opportunity for you to get into the stock. You had a huge day in Nvidia today. Coming off the low 420s to closing at 457, a $23 gain off yesterday's low in Nvidia. I mean, that's a lot of money to be made on Nvidia. So tomorrow should be some profit taking because that's a lot of money. All right, that's a big 5% move on really no real news because it wasn't an earnings play. I don't believe in Nvidia. So you could actually see some profit taking there tomorrow. I appreciate LK Ra. Thank you for tuning in, man. Shout out to everybody who's joining us today. Got to mention the oil stocks like Exxon. I would pay attention to those two when things start coming back as well, because I think those revenues will start getting strong again. Not now though. Not now though. But again, right now, strong in the iron condors. If you did my iron condor trades, or if you have studied my iron condor trades, you haven't had a losing month since the end of COVID at that 90% level that I teach. Right now, do I have that with me right now? I'm trying to think of that picture of a trade I shared with a student earlier. Yeah, here it is. Let me see. Can I save this? Capture. All right. And again, you don't have. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just kind of telling you the kind of trades we had been taking. Again, this is for someone who's not considered, is not an active day trader or anything like this. Is just somebody who's, got 10 grand, 7 grand, whatever, just laying on the side, wants to make some money, and has been doing it consistently with me, taking these kind of trades. because again, you can take them at the 90% probability level, and they only lose if you just have like a disaster happens, right? And we've had that disaster already. That's what's great about this strategy. But typically, we don't have those COVID-19 type of disasters every day. So here's the trade. It's an iron condor in SPX or S&P 500. It nets you $1,450 in 49 days. If the S&P stays beneath 3502 and is greater than 2497. So the S&P 500 would really have to crash 1,000 points, in order to have this be a losing trade, which not to say is not likely, because it could happen, but it's less than not to happen, bearing with what the government has put in place to prevent those type of crashes. The only reason we had settled on 3,500 as a top from where we are now, which is slightly less than 200 points from where we are now, is because we're a bit topped out here. But it's something to pay attention to. Obviously, we're struggling right now overnight, but we'll see. It's something you can, of course, adjust in time. And if things start getting a little bit more aggressive, we just like punch through. If we start punching through some of these levels, like 3,400 or something like that, we'd be concerned, of course. 3,450 or something, like we start crashing through that, we'd definitely be concerned. But right now sitting good, so we'll see what happens. But again, what's great about these places, you don't even have to wait the whole time. You can just take 50%, and that 50% will be 23 and a half days, and you can close for 50% of max value, which is about $725 minus the cost of the trade, of course. So which for this trade, I believe, is about $115 or so. So for 23 days, again, you're not a day trader. You're not somebody who, wants to look at balance sheets. You're not somebody who wants to really do any kind of deep diving. You just kind of want high probability trade setups. You understand that the market, in the greater scheme of things, really doesn't trade that much in terms of a range. And we see that when you look at the monthly chart. So if we look at the monthly chart, we were 31, from last month in particular, July, we see, the market only went up, what is that, 150 points? Yeah, about 152 to 153 points. So if, let's say, we put up the same number now, we'll get up there, but not necessarily hit it. So today being a huge day, today was a huge day. 330, 80. Let's add 150. All right, and this is bearing in mind that there are no red days. We'd probably be at 35.30. But again, what's the likelihood of another 150 point month? We'll see. All right, but we're adding in some red days in there. We think that could possibly happen. Right now, I'm using TradingView, but for the trade, you're talking about what platform I'm using for the trade. The trade is Tastyworks. Use my link, tastyworks2000.com, and you're going to get that expedited approval for futures options. That's typically only for people who buy my course at nodirectiontrading.com. But again, if you're looking for access to the futures, that's what you would use. What's my old channel? Thought I disappeared from YouTube years ago. Why? What makes you say that? I've had some old channels, man, but of course, you come up with some new things, you learn some new things. But I started this stock market channel You know, learning from that clown Tim Sykes, and then eventually going and doing my own thing. No, I don't do one-on-one coaching. I mean, if you call me, if you email me and give me your number, I'll call you and we can talk about whatever we want. But, you know, I don't do like something where I'm going to call you every day at 5 o'clock to see what you're doing and all that. You know, I don't do that, you know, because I'm kind of doing my own thing here. I've got my daughter here, so I just really don't have time to be doing any one-on-one coaching. I don't want to disappoint anybody, but if somebody's asking me questions, I don't mind answering. All right. So, guys, look out for that video on that list you already got today. But I'm going to put out a list of my end of COVID plays, including some very interesting, stocks I got from some of you guys today. A list of best gold ETFs and best silver ETFs as well. We'll be putting out some content out there regularly. Also, stay tuned for some podcast episodes over the next couple, extra next week and a half. I'll be doing that. All right. So I appreciate you guys staying up so late with me, man. This is, yes, indeed, man. So it's your boy Sal, man. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to the people still in the building right now. Who's still in here? SC Trucker, thank you so much, man. Pro Style, Andy, Sky, Eric 875, LK Roth, you're still on. Combo Contracting. And what's crazy is that I know some of you guys aren't going to go to sleep. You're gonna keep working. Appreciate you, Three Hooks. Or, keep doing whatever you're doing. Watch a movie or something. Yes, indeed. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. God bless all of you guys. Seriously, still watching my channel and engaging with me in the comments and everything like that. So definitely be putting out content more often. Although I say that a lot, but I'm really, now with this computer, I need to. Because I got to get this money back. I mean, I got I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but, over two stacks in this computer, which isn't bad because they say it's worth a lot more. You know what I mean? So I got to get my money back. I got to get my fucking money back. Because I've never spent that much on the computer. Like, my thing was like, I go to Walmart and pick some shit out. But this is the rig, man. This is going to be your rig. I'm like, okay. And it was 2 and change. I'm like, okay, man, fuck it. The market is giving your paper, your boy the paper. Why not? Spoil myself. So I got to make this money back, man. Yes, indeed. Cheers. I'm gonna finish this. I'm just going off because it's been 2 hours. I really legit can keep going. I mean, but I don't want to keep you guys up that long. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, sorry, guy. Until next time, guys, trade well. I'm out.